My hypothesis is that today most art is for art's sake. Say for instance, a dancer dances because she has the ability and skill set to dance, and not because she has an idea or expression and she thinks dance is the best way to express it. I have tried to raise questions about the importance of content over form, the difference between entertainment and art, and have tried to see if there is a fluidity of ideas among
Is there a
different art
fluidity
forms.
of ideas between artists, or is it becoming isolated?
Here's what I found.
I'm a filmmaker, so by default, I think in terms of films. I stimulate myself creatively only thinking of films and the different kinds of films that I can make. So that's how it works with me. There might be something that I may be able to represent better with a painting or a poem or a play. But because my passion lies in filmmaking, and that's what I like to do, I think only in terms of film. So for me, it's the form that comes first and the content that follows, or whatever content I have in my mind. I make it a point to channelize it through filmmaking in some way or the other.
At uni, we were actually taught about form versus function. So, but from a design point of view, I studied design, so it was like, just be aware of it. Maybe you want the way it looks to affect the way it works, or maybe you want what it does to affect the way it looks. And generally, the more practical something is, the more boring and ugly it looks, generally.
I don't know how to put that in words, but I'm usually not thinking of the idea. Actually, someone asks me to do something, and I know that my greatest force is voice, and I try to think of, with the use of that voice, how can I satisfy both myself and this person who wants something from me? So voice usually comes first, and and generally as the idea. Then I can think of, oh, maybe not voice this time, maybe dance, okay. But voice comes always first because it has always been first.
I think depending on what your interest, like for example, if you talk about any issue or anything you want to talk about, either you do it with the skill sets you have or you get more skill sets, or you learn to find the right form in which it can be delivered, or you collaborate with another artist. It's not, there's not one way of looking at it.
Just, I'm not thinking of I'm not the artist who concentrates on the ideas, but I think rather way. So I have my way of expression, and I try to link it to as many fields as it's possible. Something like that. Use it to as many aspects, as many problematic issues as it's possible. See where it fits.
What I'm planning to do is to come up with what I want to say first, and then I'll think about what project will befit it. My skills range, it covers. I can make. Sound like I'm bragging, but I can pretty much make anything if I'm going to sew it. So if it's made out of fabric, I can probably work out how it's going to go together.
Even if you're communicating something artistically, in, I don't know, whatever the conventional artistic sense is, there is a certain skill set that you will require to go ahead and communicate anything through any form of art, whether it's a painting or a play or a novel or a poem or a film. It doesn't matter.
But yeah, I don't think I would suddenly go, I need to make a film. out of this because it's much better conveyed with movement or whatever. But I might make something that could be filmed and then make sure it is filmed in a certain way, like ask someone to do that. I think then you can kind of, there's the thing that you're making, and then there's the whole idea surrounding it, and tapping into other artists' abilities and ideas.
Like, for example, I was never trained at puppetry. I didn't know how to make puppets. I didn't know how to move puppets. I had no idea. When I was doing my project on child abuse, I really wanted that to, like, I really wanted, the story was the core heart. And then finding the form was more like, this has to be delivered, and what is the right medium to deliver this story. So for me personally, I was more concerned about the story, and then I was like, why not do it with puppets? And then start to find the form and with puppets.
Like, where I'm setting up the project in Tooting, it's going to be really good because when you get an idea, I imagine people will come to the meeting with their idea, and then someone else will go, oh, have you thought about doing this? Like you know, when you have a crit at uni, you don't get that in the real world. You don't get to go and bounce ideas off other artists very often.
What helps is the soul is so strong. When the soul is so strong, I think medium will flow. Either you will find the medium or you will learn the medium how to communicate that. I don't know if that answers or not. Then there are different ways of collaborating.
I don't think so. I don't think you're right there. I don't think it's fair to distinguish something like that, distinguish art and entertainment with something like that, with a set of skills and things like that. I don't think so. I don't know what I would describe as art and what I would describe as entertainment. I guess if there's a profit to be made, then maybe you should call it entertainment. If you take that example of a group of jugglers juggling in a circus or in a street corner, then I wouldn't call it art. But yeah, maybe that's demeaning. That's a demeaning thing to say, but yeah, I wouldn't call it art. Perhaps, yeah, it sounds nicer. I don't know why. I guess we live in a society where being an entertainer is looked down upon when compared to being an artist. I don't know. I don't have a problem being either an entertainer or an artist. I think they're both great things. Yeah.
दोनों possible है. Western भी है. Western क्या है? It's happiness. It's artificial happiness which they create beautiful. It's a piece of art also, no? And it has a lot of money. Lion King, for example. तुमने देखा है? कितना I've never seen it and I won't see it. I don't think I'll see it because for me that is like whoa, बहुत ज़्यादा खुशी है वहाँ पे, बहुत ज़्यादा artificial खुशी है और ये बहुत ज़्यादा प्यार से बना, मतलब it's made beautifully and it runs for commercial sake, and there are people who do that. There are people who do exactly opposite. So it entirely depends on what is your vision of an artist. What do you want to tell?
Well, I think a producer primarily picks up these various people who have these skill sets, brings them together and tries to make something that he wants to communicate.
I think I've been quite fortunate in that I'm setting up a group and that I've met a lot of artists because I've gotten involved with projects where artists will come together. But I think generally you'd probably find a lot of isolation if you know where to find it. People just struggling on their own with their own practice, thinking, you know, this is I've got to specialise. I've got to stick to it. I've got to be very good at what I do in order to be the person that gets picked to do it. Which is a shame, really, because I quite like this whole idea of expanding it out to more people rather than less people. And to do that, you have to give the impression that art is for everyone, and that kind of specialisms goes against that.